On today's show, we're going to take a look at the EVs of the big three. That is right. We got the Ford Lightning, we got the Chevrolet Silverado EV, and then we've got the new Revolution by Ram. And I want to kind of give you some thoughts on this. They're just early thoughts about it, but I kind of want to break each one down. I've gotten 3 photos from each model, and I want to kind of compare all 3, and we'll just go from there. So let's start out with the big boy, the one that's actually made it to market, the Ford F-150. And Ford did a great job of getting this thing out in a hurry. And I mean, they got this thing out in a hurry. And what they wanted to do with their customers was they wanted to make it look like an F-150, which is great. You want new customers to come in, and you don't want to freak them out completely because, let's be honest, Ford has a wide range of customers, from 18-year-olds all the way up till, 75-year-olds. They have a large audience, and so they can't freak out their audience too much, where, Chevrolet's kind of the number 2 pickup truck, and Ram's kind of charging into that number 2 spot. So there's the guys down below can take some chances, where Ford needs to make this thing just be a truck. And they did a good job. And as you can see, the front end of this thing, of course, it's going to have an LED bar. You're going to see that in all 3 of these. They got to have LED everywhere. But you see, it just looks like a normal F-150, which I think is a great job. I think it looks great. I think it's practical, but Ford has had some hiccups with this thing, with some battery issues and such, which is going to happen. If you're an early adapter to any of these EVs, you're probably going to have some issues with that. Now, let's look at the interior of this thing. If you look, and once again, this is going to be kind of a common thing for Ford. They just made it look like their normal F-150. Now, obviously, you're getting the cool up and down display on the for your infotainment center, and other than that, it's got the same features that you would expect in the F-150. You can get the versions with the flip down if you want to be on a job site. It's got the little flip down desk. You get all those kind of things, and I think Ford did a great job once again, not freaking their audience out. Now, the tailgate, it's a truck, right? Ford expects people who buy this thing, they're truck buyers. And I think that's the difference between this truck and the next couple trucks we're going to see is Ford expects truck buyers to buy this, where I think the other brands are expecting to pull in some car people, maybe some tech people that want a truck. But Ford expects people to do truck things. And as you can see with the tailgate of this thing, they've made no bones about it. If you want to be on a job site, you want to do some construction things, look, they've got all the saws and everything there ready to do that. And so for that, I think Ford knocked it out of the park. Now, let's get into the next one, the Chevrolet the Chevrolet EV, Silverado EV. Now, I mean, I would kid at that, but this thing definitely harkens back to the Avalanche. If you look at this thing, a lot of Avalanche too. It looks like a modern version of what the Avalanche was. And I think the Avalanche was a cool, pickup truck, but stole sales from the old Silverado. So what Chevy decided to do with their version of this thing is they wanted to, kind of update it just slightly. Chevy wanted a truck, obviously, but, this is a full unibody. Just, it looks, one solid body lines. If you look down it, where Ford kind of made it look like the truck, with like a removable bed. Chevrolet went and said, no, we're just going to go all kind of unibody construction. I'm sure there's a reason for that I'm not going to get into right now. In the comments, let me know what you think. This thing's a good looking truck. They debuted it with this the RST version, and it's been about a year now, and no updates. I have one on reservation and no updates. So thank you, GM, for doing that. But they built a nice, or what they're building looks to be a nice looking vehicle. Now the inside of this thing, they took what Ford was doing and they plushed it up a little bit. They said, hey, we can't just be normal Silverado. We need to kind of, tweak this for the future a little bit. And I think they did a really good job of this thing. Of course, it's going to have that classic, if you look at the GM screen, everything about it, like the Ford, everything about it somewhat, it's a little more advanced than what you would see in a Silverado, but pretty close. The interior of this thing looks great. And as far as like doing truck things, well, they, knowing this thing is a unibody construction, they know that, the bed might be an issue. We might need a little bit more bed. So what they do, classic Avalanche, let's flip down all that windows and stuff. Let's open the whole inside of the cab up, which gives you a little bit more room. If you're Home Depot, you get them big long sheets of plywood, which seems to be the standard for pickup trucks. There, you can get it in there, and it looks tough and ready to go, right? And overall, I think Chevrolet's done a pretty good job with this. I wish they would give a little bit more updates of what's going on, besides these kind of teasers of it towing that they don't really give you any range, because we all know with EV that seems to be the number one thing right now. And with a pickup truck, you're gonna tow, right? So let's get into the new Ram Revolution. Now, this thing just dropped this week, and I, for one, was very excited about it. We did a live stream, and me and Kelly really liked what we saw from this thing. Now, after sitting with it for a little bit, you know, there's always the excitement on reveal days where you kind of get excitement, and then you got to think about it and be like, is this practical? Now, Ram, I think overall, the looks of this thing, the front end looks like a modern, maybe like a 20-year jump in what their pickup trucks would look like. You know, obviously these things have to have smooth front ends for aerodynamics. The lights look pretty good. You know, you kind of got that X cross pattern for the lights, and once again, the Ram is glowing like crazy. But this thing, now being a concept, I won't ding this thing too hard because we don't know what the final version will look like. But I like the glass, the roof, and everything that they're showcasing that they're going to do. But can they actually do that? That's one thing. Once again, they wanted to take, they seen what the other two guys did, and they kind of lifted some ideas from that. You know, Ram now has where you can drop the back window down and make you know, they have some jump seats, which is a little bit different than what Chevrolet was doing, but they did offer more bed space, like what the idea that Chevrolet is doing, and I think it was pretty smart. Now, you know, if you look at the side profile of this thing, it does look like a truck, you know, but it's just like I said, it looks like something you might see in Westworld, just something like 100 years down the road. I like it though. The one thing I don't like about it is the tailgate of this thing. It just looks like somebody just got bored and just cut the clay off and went, well, that's good enough. But overall, I think this thing looks great. The interior of this thing, though, is where it's all concept. I do not see this thing being, you know, ready to go as is. There's no center stack for the driver to look at his speedo. It's all up in the glass. I want to say it was 27 inches of screen in the center. It's 2 screens put together. Looks like they're going to have a lot of tech features with that. You know, they quickly through their presentation didn't show you much. They just showed you some ideas. And the biggest thing that I seen is it looks like you can wave your arms around and the truck will follow you somehow. I don't know what that's about. I don't know how practical that is ever going to be, but it was kind of interesting, and it does point to where the future of automotive might be. You might, you know, be in your driveway and you somehow activate your car with your fob and you just tell it to come on back. Maybe it's in the way. You need to get it out of the way. It's kind of interesting anyways. I don't know how practical it is right now. So in the comments though, let me know where you're at with this. Are you interested in all 3 of these trucks? Are you waiting for the Cybertruck? Are you waiting, like, will Rivian actually get more production out where you and maybe more affordable? And also, where are the prices at on these things? We all know that you can get a F-150 in the $100,000 range. You can get this Silverado, definitely is going to be in the $100,000 range. You only have to look at the Hummer to see what they're charging for that. And also, what was this Ram? Ram's not, they were very basic with their presentation on this, and they just dumped it, and there it is. But I like all 3 for different reasons, and I hope you do too. Are you brand loyal? Are you a Chevy guy, and you're like, the bow tie is where I'm at. If I have to go EV, it's going to be with the bow tie. Or are you classic Ford guy? That's like, you know, the F-150's been the best-selling vehicle for Ford and pickup trucks in general. Would you stick with that? Or are you with the Ram? Are you like, hey man, I want to be different? Now, we will see Toyota eventually and Nissan eventually and some of the others. We'll jump in on this. But I think right now the big 3 is they're kind of showing us where the EV market is heading. So whether it be 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, or these EV trucks that they're sure going to drive, it's been your All Terrain Nation. I'm your host, David Boyd. We're out. Peace, everybody. Love y'all.